Xabi Alonso is one of the most exciting up-and-coming managers in football today. His Bayer Leverkusen side boast an impressive unbeaten record in the Bundesliga after 21 games, so it's no surprise that he is currently being linked with this soon-to-be vacant Liverpool job. And today, we're going to be taking a look at how he might set up this Liverpool side. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe, you like the video, and you turn on those notifications, because it really would help me out. But now, let's get into it. To begin with, we're going to be having a look at what makes a Xabi Alonso side, what are the hallmarks of the style of play that he has and the team that he wants to put forwards. And to do this, we're going to be having a look at Bayer Leverkusen, who obviously sit at the top of the Bundesliga currently. This is the first thing I want to show to you, just a general stats page, and there are a couple of things that I really want to point out. The first of all are the goals and assists that Bayer Leverkusen have. 99, only beaten by Bayern Munich, and that's only by 5 goals and assists combined. Then I want to take a look at the actual goals per 90, 2.52. To put that into perspective, Liverpool currently have a goals per 90 of 2.3 on average. I understand that it's a different league, it's a different way of playing, but it just shows you the levels that Bayer Leverkusen are playing. And when I tell you that Bayer Leverkusen have actually finished in the Bundesliga 6th twice out of the last 3 years, you know how much of a good job Xabi Alonso is doing. Only 21 games played, but yet 99 goals and assists recorded. They actually average 61.3% possession, so a heavily possession-based side, making sure that they're dominating the ball, able to go forwards. But as we've seen in their most recent game against Bayern Munich, they also can play with limited possession. I believe they only had below 40% possession in that game against their rivals. Let's go and have a look at another one. Here we have actual passing and goal creation stats. Again, Bayern Munich are the only side that have more than Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen actually have 99 goal creating actions. That averages out to 4.71 per 90. Again, extremely impressive. 4.71 goal creating actions per 90, and they're scoring 2.5 of those on average per game. Very, very high stats indeed. Now let's go and have a look at their passing. What kind of passing range does Xabi Alonso's side have? Well, actually, they complete more short passes than any other side in the Bundesliga. They average 366 short passes per 90. This is per match. So they are incredibly proficient at short passing, making sure that they're working their way up the pitch slowly but methodically, not hitting the ball long, not being very, very direct. Instead, they like those short passes to bring people in, to drag people in, and then utilize the space that is left by the team that wants to press up against them. An extremely unique tactic that I would argue is more in the favour of a Pep Guardiola side rather than the Jurgen Klopp side, and this makes a lot of sense because Xabi Alonso used to play for Pep Guardiola when he was at Bayern Munich. Let's continue on and have a look at the touches. Leverkusen actually have the most touches in the attacking third when playing up against sides. 4,735 touches in the attacking third, and that is incredibly important when you consider the fact that that's more than Bayern Munich. So they are way high up the pitch. They maintain possession higher up the pitch. They're continuously penning teams in, utilizing their possession, utilizing their short passing, recovering the ball, making sure that they are able to pen teams in. So what have we got so far? We've got a high possession-based side, utilising short passes to bring them up the pitch, and at the same time they also maintain their attacks with attacking touches in the final third. Very, very impressive. Let's now talk about them from a defensive point of view. Leverkusen are actually second when it comes to tackles in the attacking third. Again, maintaining that possession. The recoveries are always going to be there in the final third. The intensity that they utilise further up the pitch to try and maintain those attacks are incredibly important. 54 attacking third tackles, only beaten by Bayern Munich with 63, and that's down to the presence they have in the final third of the pitch. Let's now talk about ball recoveries as well, because that will go hand in hand with the final third touches and the final third tackles. Leverkusen are actually top of the Bundesliga in terms of ball recoveries, 1,216. This means that when they're in the final third, they're aggressive. They want to recover the ball as quickly as possible. This showcases energy. It showcases the philosophy that Xabi Alonso wants to put into this side. Not only are they very quick and agile when it comes to passing the ball through, but they also want to recover the ball as quickly as possible. So already we've got a blueprint of what kind of a side this Leverkusen side is and what kind of philosophy Xabi Alonso wants to bring through. Short passes, high possession, high tempo, intensity in the final third, and utilising that to create goal-scoring actions on a regular basis. Now it's time to adapt that into what a Liverpool side could look like. But first, let's have a look at Bayer Leverkusen themselves. We've now seen what a Bayer Leverkusen team looks like off of the pitch. Let's now look at what they look like on the pitch. They operate in a 3-4-2-1 formation. That's utilising 3 centre-backs. It's utilising 2 attacking wing-backs, 2 central defensive midfielders or centre mids, 2 inside forwards, and a main central striker. Their general phases of play include bringing the ball forwards and occupying the opposition half. Remember, they have a possession of 61% on average in the Bundesliga. The main things to look out for are the 2 holding midfielders who like to shuffle across, but also penetrating passes into the inside forwards. This left-hand one is often occupied by Florian Wirtz, one of the most up-and-coming young German players in the world today. And then on the right hand side you generally have a more attacking, pacey player to join up with the central striker when they tend to go forwards. The utilisation of the wing backs is one of the most highlighted features of Xabi Alonso's attacking play. Grimaldo actually currently boasts 17 goal involvements in his 21 games played. That's an incredible statistic. And Frimpong on the other side, when he is fit and playing, actually boasts 12 goal involvements in the same amount of minutes that he has currently been occupying on the pitch. So the utilisation of fullbacks is extremely key. Remember, we talked about the short passing that Bayer Leverkusen like to utilise, pushing their team forwards, holding a fairly high line, utilising those 3 centre-backs to deal with any kind of pressure coming on from the opposition, and then keeping the ball, keeping the momentum, switching from phases of play from left to right and occupying different pockets of space, utilising the fullbacks. When they go forwards, the fullbacks, or the wing-backs I should say, will be either pushing down the pitch or drifting inside depending on where they are on the pitch. In possession, Bayer Leverkusen actually operate and dictate in a back 4, then utilising the other player to go forwards and join the attack. This allows for the extra attacking 5. Generally, you'll have a box-to-box player that joins in with the play and one that stays a little bit further back. Florian Wirtz, generally in this inside forward role, would then come in and dictate play, moving from left to right and creating those opportunities from wide areas. Passing into the box and passing from wide areas is an extremely useful asset. And then you have the rotation from defense to offense, utilizing the pace, utilizing the width of this Bayer Leverkusen team, and utilizing their ability on the ball to really create havoc, create overloads, and create different problems for the opposition to try and solve. Something that I think could really be translated into a Liverpool setup. One thing that goes hand in hand and highlights Xabi Alonso's attacking philosophy is the utilization of their players to break the lines with their passes. These come from the guys over at StatsBomb. Go and check them out if you want to, but this actually highlights line breaking passes in Europe's top 5 leagues, and as you can see, 3 of the 6 here are actually playing for Bayer Leverkusen. Granit Xhaka and Ezekiel Palacios are actually the 2 midfielders, and then you've got Edmund Tapsoba, who is a centre-back for Bayer Leverkusen. Utilising the line-breaking passes allows Leverkusen to drift and progress the ball forwards through the pitch. This allows them to get not only further up the pitch a lot faster, but be able to break through lines and penetrate through opposition defences. And utilise with this Bayer Leverkusen system just gives them the impotence to be able to go forwards and create those attacking phases of play, as well as the line-breaking passes and progressive balls up the pitch. Another indicative trait from this Bayer Leverkusen side, highlighting Xabi Alonso's style of play, is actually the compactness of their entire side. The ability to compress the pitch not only indicates and helps with Bayer Leverkusen's short passing game, but it also seriously helps them with their defensive action. Bayer Leverkusen, in their 21 games that they've played, actually boast an 11-game clean sheet record. They've only conceded 14 goals this season out of those 21 games, and one of those major reasons for that is their compactness in their squad, allowing them to not only prevent the opposition from playing through them, but also to be that extra defensive unit and allow them to progress the ball up the pitch once they have regained possession. It's now time to take everything we've learned and attribute it to this Liverpool side. This is how I believe Liverpool could set up under Xabi Alonso. It's still utilising his 3-4-2-1 formation, but there are a couple of different things, and it's very different from how Jurgen Klopp is currently setting up his Liverpool team. We're going to be going through it position by position and talking about the tactics that could be employed with each player. First of all, we've got Virgil van Dijk as the main centre-back. I believe he could operate as a sweeping role, utilising that role that Tar appears to have with this Leverkusen side. But on top of that, I've also got Van Dijk in this position for his range of passing. He will be able to shuffle across and cover the likes of Konate and Kwanzaa, who we'll get to in just a moment, but also his range is something that I think could really be utilised in this Liverpool side, going from left to right. Remember that just because Xabi Alonso is dictating his Leverkusen side utilising short passing doesn't mean that there can't be compromise in some kind of philosophy. I think there will be some kind of middle ground met between the way that Liverpool play currently and the way that their side is set up and the way that Xabi Alonso wants to play. Compromise is always going to be needed, and utilising the assets of Virgil van Dijk, utilising the assets of Trent in terms of their long passing, I think it would be criminal not to utilise their talent in the way that they've been able to show it off currently. Konate and Kwanzaa are the other two centre-backs I think could really hone their roles here. Kwanzaa in particular I could see subbed in for Joe Gomez because of how well Gomez has done at left-back. I actually think that when Liverpool transition into a back four, when they're in possession to be able to push one of the attacking wing-backs forward, I think that Joe Gomez has done a perfectly good job at left back, and he could make a very good left centre back because he's not going to be as exposed in a back two. Konate has been one of the standout performers for me for Liverpool this season. He's essentially played as a right centre back for most of the time for Liverpool this season. I could see him really utilising that role. With the amount of space that is left in behind because of Trent Alexander-Arnold wanting to go forwards and his lack of real defensive awareness, Konate has had to deal with a lot of situations over on this Liverpool right-hand side anyway, so it makes sense to have him as the right-sided centre-back of a back three. Moving forwards, we have the two holding midfielders, or central midfielders in this case, in McAllister and Trent. Now, the Trent is going to be the main thing you're going to be looking towards. Why isn't he out on this right-hand side? Well, that's for one really important reason, that's the fact that Conor Bradley is a sensation, and I think it would be criminal not to put him in a lineup where it utilises pace, attacking power, and the ability to really traverse the ball forwards as well as the player himself. This allows Trent to take more of a quarterback role, if you will. I think Trent has been moved into midfield a little bit more this season, and the transition is starting to come. I think that later on he'll be able to get an awareness of certain situations and positioning for a more central holding midfield role. His utilisation of passes over to the left and right channels, very much like Virgil van Dijk, is something that really can be utilised by Liverpool. Picking out the runs of Salah, picking out the runs of Robertson and Szoboszlai. His ability to switch the play is something that Leverkusen have been utilising with the likes of Granit Xhaka, but also it's something that Liverpool have been using already. They are very good at switching play, creating overloads on different sides, so it makes sense for Trent to be in midfield. Partnering with Alexis McAllister, I think he has been an absolute sensation when it comes to playing a deeper lying midfield role. And partnered next to Trent, he's going to get a little bit more security. No longer is he the main line of defence. He can now take the ball and then progress the ball forwards. Remember, we talked about line-breaking passes. Both of these players are fantastic at breaking the lines, at finding passes into the inside forwards. And I think that's exactly how Liverpool could really transition in this way. Robertson is out on this left-hand side, and I've got Conor Bradley as the two real attacking wing-backs. Robertson has been one of the standout performers for Liverpool in the last decade, and I think that he could be back to his best with this system. With the lack of defensive capabilities needed from him, he can really focus on his attacking game. If you'd told Robertson that he could get between 5 and 10 goals in a season as well as the assists, I think he'd take it, and I think he's got the quality and the ability to really drive into these inside spaces once it's vacated by some of the inside forwards or by Dominic Szoboszlai himself. Connor Bradley has been, like I've said, a revelation, and utilising the space that is going to be left by the likes of Mo Salah when drifting forwards, but also when they have enough space on one of the sides, I think that Bradley is going to be there to take it. His quality on the ball is definitely something that Liverpool can utilise, and I think that his athleticism is something that's better than Trent's, so it makes sense why he's out on this right-hand side. And then we talk about the forward players. Mo Salah is got to be in this team. His quality is too high, and he started to really become a provider for this Liverpool setup. When he's not looking for a chance on goal, he's going to be looking for one of his teammates. Dominic Szoboszlai, I think, can definitely play that Florian Wirtz role, moving into a more central position to allow for the other Liverpool players to play around him. In a different setup, he can move a little bit more centrally, and then you can have a double pivot of Mo Salah or Darwin Núñez. And then that allows for Liverpool just to have a completely different option going forwards. But generally, I think that Szoboszlai is a smart enough player to be able to dictate his own role within this Liverpool side. And I just think it makes a lot of sense. As well at the top, we've got Darwin Núñez. He's really coming into form for me. I think he's got to be in this setup going forwards. I like Cody Gakpo, and I think he'd be able to link up the play better than Núñez would. But Núñez just has that star power, that quality, that real fire, that chaos about him. And it's the chaos that I think that this Liverpool side could really thrive off. Yes, they're going to be very particular in the way they play, and they're very strategic in the way they set up, and everything is going to be very precise. But Darwin Núñez is starting to come into some form, and I think with a bit more confidence and a little bit more time, he can really refine himself to become the striker that I think we all know that he is. This is my Liverpool side, and this is how I can see Xabi Alonso really utilising them in the system and the philosophy that he brings into football nowadays. But my question to you is, how do you believe Liverpool could play under Xabi Alonso? Do you think it would be a good fit? Do you think that Liverpool could really progress and even get better with Xabi Alonso? Or do you think it's back to the drawing board? Let me know your thoughts and your potential options for who could be the next Liverpool manager. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.